In the next couple of minutes, I'm going to share with you why I think centering prayer is an essential practice for our world in the 21st century. I'm Brian Russell, and I'm the author of a book on centering prayer called Centering Prayer: Sitting Quietly in God's Presence Can Change Your Life. And here's what I've noticed. I'm recording this video at the beginning of 2024. The noise in our world has reached, I would almost say, unprecedented levels, at least in my lifetime. We live in a time now with our devices, our phones, the internet, television, that we're constantly being overstimulated, literally all of our waking hours. People are struggling with sleep now because we get so wound up from devices that folks are having a hard time even sleeping. Moreover, anxiety, mental illness has reached unprecedented levels, especially among young people. There's fear in the air. We live in a divided world. We're divided over religion, over politics, over all sorts of things. And these divisions are starting to cut into families. And so there's just a huge amount of fear. And that's amplified by essentially the overwhelming amount of information that we take in every day, let alone the fact that in the process of consuming information, we're also continuously the targets of marketing and advertising that wants to tweak us in our own ways, make us feel as though we're not enough and that we need this new shiny thing to make us happy. This is where centering prayer comes in, right? Because here's the reality. One of the core principles of spiritual formation and growth it's an ancient adage, but this comes out of the Bible. It comes out of other philosophies. It's essentially the need to know ourselves. And here's the scary thing. If you don't really know yourself, the algorithms that run our world, that run our YouTube channels, social media, the things that you see that go up on your computer, the algorithms already know you maybe as well as or even better than you know yourself. Now, this is where centering prayer comes in. Now, at its core, centering prayer, the goal isn't just self-knowledge or even to cut through anxiety. Those are going to be benefits. The goal of centering prayer is to connect in silence with the God that loves us unconditionally. And God essentially exists in silence. Before there was ever a sound, God was. And so centering prayer is a modality of prayer. It's a contemplative practice that invites us to practice solitude, stillness in silence as a means of sitting and being with the God who loves us unconditionally. Why is that important? Because it's this. Our whole world screams at us all day, something bad's going to happen. You're not enough, and there isn't going to be enough for you. But who are we really? Who are you really? Who are we? We're not just the experiences that we've had. We're not just the roles that we've played. We're persons loved by God. And centering prayer puts us in a position where we can live out of that identity. Because what you discover in centering prayer are really two things, and I have other videos that you can check out my centering prayer playlist, but centering prayer will draw out the hurt parts of ourselves so that we can give those to God and God can begin to heal us. And the more that we are healed, the more God's love flows into us. And when God's love flows into us, we can cut through the noise in the world because we can turn it down because we don't need something outside of ourselves to have fulfillment, satisfaction. God's love gets poured into our hearts, as Paul says in Romans. We also can live with less anxiety and less fear because we know how to settle in to just being fully present. And when you're fully present, you're not worried about the future. You're not worried about the past. You can just show up. And as one of my mentors, Bob Tuttle, says, the key to life is show up, be present. God's got way more invested in this than we do. And centering prayer can help us to get into that space. And when you settle and when you're fully present, guess what? Like for me, I'm a better husband because I can be tuned in to my beloved. I'm a better father because I can listen to my kids. I can take the good and the bad and hold space for them when they're hurting and also just celebrate when things are going really well. I can be a great friend. I'm a better professor in the classroom. I'm a better driver on the roads. When I'm allow myself to take my centering prayer practice into the world. Also, and I've marked this, I wear a Fitbit, my heart rate, and then I know this from other measurements, my blood pressure is lower than it was. My heartbeat is slower than it was because I've turned the volume down on all the overstimulation. And even as centering prayer is not a productivity hack, but I'm able to do my work, I'm going to say in less time, because what am I able to do? Again, I'm able to just do it out of joy. I'm able to be fully present. And all that starts with centering prayer. So if you find yourself wondering, what does my soul really need? The answer is your soul needs God. And one of the best ways that I have found to live moment by moment with God is to build in a robust centering prayer practice. I start in the morning, and then I just take little breaks throughout the day. And what I've noticed is that silent solitude, stillness, then goes with me as I go into the world with the desire to seek and bless people. If I can help you with your centering prayer practice, again, think about checking out some of my other videos. I have instructional videos. I have reflections. If you're interested in getting a monthly update from me, go to centeringprayerbook.com, and I'll invite you to a free gathering that I co-host with a friend of mine named Rich Lewis, and I'll also give you a newsletter that always has some updates and some tips on that. Again, thank you for listening to this video. If you find it helpful, would you consider sharing it with friends? Until the next time, live by faith, be known by love, and be a voice of hope to others.